Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Israel Vargas, who will fight on APFC 16, March 23rd. Hello, Israel. How are you?
Good, man. Good. How about you?
I'm good, and to be honest, I'm really excited about your next fight because it will be like undefeated prospect against undefeated prospect, and
Yes,
on the
sir.
paper, it looks like a really interesting fight.
Yeah.
So, if you can tell me, how do you feel about like 2 weeks before this fight, and what do you think about your opponent?
I'm feeling very, very excited. Again, like I love facing the best. Like that's my entire career. I don't want, somebody who's, 0-5 or 0-10. I want to fight the best of the best. I want the guys who are undefeated or the guys who only have one loss or the guys who have, fought also amazing people, So I'm very, very excited. This guy's a high skilled fighter. He's an elite fighter, and I'm very excited to get out there with him. Yeah, and it's just gonna be fireworks. We're both. I feel like we both want it, and we both want to go out there and win. So it's just gonna be an amazing fight. I feel.
And actually, your last fight, you defeated like another undefeated
Yeah,
prospect.
yeah.
He was, I believe, 5-0, and it was really good fight. And when the fight was over, did you think that you won this fight?
Yeah. I had felt that I had done enough to win the fight. I wish I had been a little more on the attack, and I feel like in this fight, I think that's gonna be more of what I want to do, like a little more pressure. But also, yeah, like also playing my range, and just doing my thing. I think that fight went very well. Shouts out to Ethan Ortiz. That guy is awesome. It was a great fight, and yeah,
Yes, I agree that it was like really good fight, and I think that it was like quite clear, like 2-1
yeah,
for you. So I agree with the decision, but of course it's like in the end, I think that the like fighter who should win won in the end.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And also you are like 4-0 in APFC, so I think that you are like maybe on the like amateur level one of the main faces of the promotion because it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
quite rarely to see like 4-0 fighter in this promotion.
Yeah, yeah. Especially because APFC is my home, like they're the ones who gave me a name for myself, Because prior to this I always wanted to fight, and I was blessed that APFC sorry brother. I was blessed that APFC gave me a shot, and that's just always gonna be home. That's always gonna be, um like like my family, just because they gave me a name for myself. So I love APFC, and I'm glad that I get to showcase my skills on their show.
And I think also that you have a quite big frame for the bantamweight division. And
Yeah.
do you think like about going to featherweight, maybe not in next fight, but in the like near future, let's say?
Yeah, I've definitely been debating on it. This guy actually, this I believe this is his first time coming down to bantamweight, the guy that I'm fighting now. So I feel after I beat him, I think that's a good step up to be like, oh, okay, I can beat, a high level, high ranked 145er. I should be able to bump up now. I really want to test myself and test the waters before I do it. But yeah, I definitely think after this fight, we're gonna see how I feel, and I think 145 is definitely a possibility. Definitely.
And what do you think about like distance for amateur fight? It's like three rounds for 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and it's of course like a little bit different than in pro MMA.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the 3 rounds. Obviously, I can't wait for the 5 rounds. The pace is gonna be different. Everything's gonna feel different. Also being able to like throw elbows to the head and knees to the head, that's also gonna be amazing because I have a lot of that in my game that I want to show. But yeah, right now, just taking it easy, getting my experience, and then once we bump up to pro, getting those 5 minute rounds, and then championship fights. That's what I'm excited for.
And probably when you have like 2 more minutes, it's a little bit easier to get a finish because especially when
Yeah,
you are
yeah,
working on the ground, you have like few additional minutes to finish the opponent or even like beat him up a little bit more.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Even in that last fight, the last round, if I I feel like if I had just like maybe another minute, I could have locked in that choke a little bit tighter and it would have been set stone. But it's all right. I'm glad that it played out the way that it did. But yeah, definitely more time is going to be a lot better.
And like watching your fights, it's obvious that you are a very good grappler. You have two
Yeah.
finishes on the ground. But before like starting overall MMA training, did you have BJJ or some other grappling experience?
The main thing that I had, I was a wrestler in high school, and that was kind of like preparing me for mixed martial arts. Because my dream since I was a kid was to fight. Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to be the best fighter. So I started off with wrestling, and then I found my family at 3D MMA, and ever since then, been just sharpening my tools, learning how to mix in jujitsu with wrestling and striking, and then just bringing it all together and making it one big thing.
So I think that right now it's like a quite cool thing that even when you are like teenager in high school you can have this like MMA dream and like 20 years ago it was not possible and like
Yeah, yeah,
it was like just not possible because we didn't know where the sport will go and
yeah,
now you can
exactly.
be quite young fighter and you go to the wrestling room but still you have the dream about being a MMA
Yeah,
fighter.
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how much this sport has evolved. Like I remember when Joe Rogan was on that newscast with that I forgot his name, but he was a boxing enthusiast, and they were just debating, and he was saying, "Oh, MMA is like chicken fighting or something like that," and just making fun of it. And now just looking like how much MMA has just skyrocketed, and that's why I love this sport so much because it's elite. It's real fighting. This is the closest you can get to, like, if you were to get in a fight with somebody outside, this is the closest you can get to that. So it's really showing who the best fighters in the world are. There's no restrictions, there's no stopping you. Like, it's just a real fight showing who's the best fighter. I love this sport so much.
Yes, and you actually in this is like the only sport that you can use all of the tools because you can
Yeah,
like punch, kick, go for submissions, and there is like no alternative for
yeah.
this. And about your team, if you can tell me, do you have the fighters like you, maybe younger prospects that have a lot of potential and you can see them in the UFC or any other big organization
Yeah,
in
one
the
hundred
future?
percent, 100%. Obviously, I know a lot of people know Tom the Status Quo and my boy Derek. Those two are just elite fighters. Their striking is beautiful. They're gonna do big things. Also, my brother Dan. Dan, he's a great fighter. He fought, I think, 4 months ago, maybe 5 months ago. He's doing really good. And then some of the younger guys like Justin, and just like uh Alex. We just have a team of just people who want it, and that makes us all build off of each other. And I think that's what's so special about 3D is that we build off of each other. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to become a champion. Everybody wants to, you know, be the best. So we just build off of each other, and then it just makes us build up to a whole nother level. So I love it. Yeah.
It's probably good, like you said, that you have this people in the let's say same age with the same dream, and
Yeah,
also like with the same fire and hunger to be a like
exactly.
class fighter.
Yeah.
Uh, and when you are thinking overall about your game, either in your like MMA fights or even in the training room, what do you think it's like the area that you need to improve the most?
Definitely. We've been sharpening my striking up a lot. I think I just have to implement it into my fighting. Like the last each fight, I show a little bit more and show a little more skill. It's just more of going out there and doing the things that we work in the room. Like we work our asses off, and it's I have to go out there and just show it. So it's not necessarily like, obviously I'm not at like my best form yet, you know what I'm saying? I'm still like on my still early stages of my career, so I still have a lot to learn. But I feel like even at this early stage, I have a lot of skills and I have a lot of tools that I just have to learn to use when I'm inside of the cage. I use them in the room and I use them in practice. It's just time to use them in the cage. You know what I'm saying?
And when we are fighting in the even like your last fight, do you feel any like stress when you know that you are like fighting against another undefeated fighter?
Um, I think Mike Tyson said this before. He's like, it makes me horny. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gets me excited, to know that I'm going out there with an elite level guy, so that I know no matter what, we can put on a show for the fans. And also so that I know that I'm testing myself. Because if I'm just going out there, and obviously nobody in this sport is a scrub, just because anybody going out there and putting their life on the line, nobody's a scrub, right? But let's say I'm going out there against a guy who's like 0 and 10. I know I'm gonna beat him, but I want to go against the guys who where there's that oh shit, I might not beat him, or there's that oh crap, this guy's really, really good. It's time to showcase how I can adapt and how I can compete against the best guys in the world, So it makes me very, very excited, and it just gets my blood pumping, and yeah, I love it.
And I think it's actually a better thing, this kind of MMA model that we are fighting against like good fighters, and you are not like building your record like 20 or 30. I
Yeah,
know it's like a very rare thing to see in MMA. And
yeah.
even if you are like 10 and 5 fighter, it actually can mean that you are a very good fighter on the like UFC level.
Exactly. Like, look at Max Holloway. The guys that he's lost to are literally all have been champions, or all have been like at the highest ranks. So if you look at Max, like he has, I think, 7 losses, and all those losses are to either Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, Ilya Topuria, Volkanovski. You know what I'm saying? When you hear those names, it's like, oh, okay, it's like he's still really, really good, and he just fought like also really, really good guys. So he's not bad. It's just, he's fought really good guys. So yeah, yeah.
And even like champions like let's say RDA or like many other fighters, Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz, they
Yeah,
also have
exactly.
a lot of losses, and then they of course like build their brand also. But
Yeah,
even as the fighter, that they were like super skilled in almost all
yeah,
of the areas of the sport.
yeah, yeah.
About your career, because it will be of course amateur bout, but do you have a like plan for going to pro in next few months?
Yeah, I've actually been talking with my coach over it, and we've been thinking about it. I think maybe a couple more fights, maybe one more, maybe two more, just to get a little more experience, and then once we feel like okay, like it's time, then that's like, okay, it's time to go. It's time to go pro. It's time to, stay undefeated, time to keep winning, and time to keep facing the best. So yeah, just a couple more fights, and then I think that announcement will come very, very soon.
So maybe before going pro, there will be like APFC amateur title fight
I
for
would
you.
love, oh my gosh, man, I would love that. I would love that because I really don't want to go fight for another promotion, but I also really, really want an amateur belt before I go pro. So that would be amazing. If APFC could make an amateur title, that would be awesome. But even if they don't, that's all good. I'm still always gonna fight on APFC. But just getting an amateur title would be so awesome before I go pro. That would be really, really cool.
And do you think that APFC will be like your route to get to the UFC in the end?
I believe so, 1000%. Look at all the eyes that are on APFC. Not just because, and obviously Anthony Pettis is one of my goats. He's one of my heroes. I look up to him. So obviously that's a big part of it. It's like, oh my gosh, this is Anthony Pettis. But also it's like when you see clips online, and you're looking, and that's like APFC is one of the biggest growing in the Midwest. It's like the biggest growing promotion. So I believe you know once I go pro, I think Dana will notice me right away, and then I think I might be able to get into the UFC in the next 2 years. Maybe even the next year. But yeah,
And actually, even this card has a lot of like great fighters like Cody Lynn or Mark
yeah,
Choinsky. There is like super high level. And I think that both of these guys and maybe even more can be in the UFC or at least in the contender series this year.
yeah, 1000%. Like, and I think that's another thing that's so special. It's like even as a fighter, I'm excited to see the rest of the card. Watching Cody the Codebreaker, that dude is awesome. Watching him, Mark the Shark, my boy Momo. There's like a bunch of really really good fights on APFC, and it's really exciting. And I think all of us on this card, and even just like on the APFC in general, can definitely make it to that high level, to the UFC, to Contender Series. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I think a lot of us have that potential, so it's exciting.
And about Anthony Pettis, because he also was one of my favorite fighters because of a lot of things, great fights, great finishes.
Yeah.
But what is your like favorite moment of his career?
Of wait, which one was it? Mark or Cody?
No, Anthony Pettis. Anthony
Oh,
Pettis.
Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis. Definitely the Showtime kick. That is all time one of my favorite. I'm a big kick dude. I love kicks. So like tornado kicks, spinning back kicks, all that stuff, right? And just watching Anthony fly off the cage, hit that Showtime kick, that's just always gonna be one of my favorite moments of all time. But yeah, just and obviously like watching him, he's just such an exciting fighter and has done so many cool things with that taekwondo background, and it's like, yeah, like I want to be like him, just like with the kicks and with the crazy stuff. I love it. I love it. But yeah.
And I think that what is crazy in his career that of course he was a WC champion, lightweight champion, but also he fought in the featherweight division, including
Yeah.
defeating Charles Oliveira. He went to welterweight division, defeated Steven Thompson. He fought in boxing against Roy Jones. So there
Yeah.
are a lot of great things in his
Yeah, man.
career.
He's done amazing things. Not only like not only for himself, but for the sport. He's put eyes on the sport, and he's given a lot of kids something to look up to. You know what I'm saying? Especially like me, like Anthony isn't. I love Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor is a little bit of an asshole. But Anthony is more of a respectful, cool person to watch, and he can promote good, and that's like that's what I strive to be, and I think that's what a lot of the young generation strives to be like, is like Anthony Pettis. So he's one of my legends, all time for sure.
Do you have a fighter from the bantamweight division that you would like to fight? More of the like dream fight scenario. So the
Dream
fight
fight.
may not happen, but you would be like really interested to challenge yourself against this opponent.
Got it. In the UFC, I do have a major fight that I would love to do one day. And that's against Merab. Even if he's not champion, there's a little bit of history with that. My coach had fought him a long, long time ago. They had a really good fight. And I love Merab too. He's awesome. So I would love to share the cage with him and just, also get that win for my coach. That would just be awesome. Fighting Merab and getting that win for my coach would be awesome.
And what do you think can opponent do to stop his style? Because he got really like unusual style. Of course, great cardio.
Yes.
He's going for the takedowns. So what do you think is like the best way to beat him?
Honestly, with a guy like Marab, I feel you have to put him out. You have to put him out because he's one of those guys who is not going to quit. He's going to keep putting the pressure. He's going to keep, especially because he's really good at those level changes, where he can be up and then boom, shoot for the takedown. Right? He can fake low, come up with the punches, So I think definitely just either catching him on one of those takedowns and submitting him, or even catching him with the right hand, because sometimes he drops his hands a little bit. Just catching him with that right hand. Yeah, there's little things that I think that you could catch him with, but yeah, definitely letting it go the distance, I don't think is a great idea just because of that gas tank and how on it he is. He's always on somebody. So yeah, definitely putting him out would be the best way to finish it.
And his
Okay,
style.
sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, brother. Sorry about that.
No problem. And actually, his style is probably like really frustrating for the opponents because it's like super hard to fight against guy who is all the time in your face, who's like pushing the pace,
Exactly,
and you
exactly.
can't like you can have like problems with like picking your shot because he's like all the time in your face.
Yeah, he's always in the pocket. He's always close. So it's very, very hard to pick your shots. But I think definitely if you can like Sean O'Malley, if he keeps hitting him with those teeps and he keeps it on the outside, I think Sean O'Malley could definitely catch him with something. But yeah, definitely letting him up close is not a good idea. Definitely not a good idea.
And outside of like fight game, let's say that you are after the fight. What do you like to do when the training is not of course it's like important, but it's
Mhm.
not the training camp. What do you like
Um,
to do?
Mainly, it's kind of hard because my life kind of revolves around, like being at the gym all the time and stuff like that. But also, just being with like my family, because they're the ones who believe in me and they're the ones who have given me, because my dad could have not, supported this decision. My mom could have not supported this decision, but they both saw something in me and they both said, you know what, I think you could do big things. We support you completely. So just being with the people that I love is one of my favorite things of all time, when I'm not training, because when I am stuck in camp and when I am, working very hard, it's kind of lonely. I'm away from everybody. I'm not really talking to much people. So after camp, I like to just take a little bit of time to just really, really chill with my family, catch up, hang out with everybody, and yeah.
And probably like in when you're in the training camp, you have to be like only focus on your goal. It's not
Yeah.
any distraction. It's like probably only like going to the gym, training and rest.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, just like laser focus, like I'm at the gym in the morning, I train in the morning, go to the gym, do a little run, get my cardio in, you know what I'm saying? Chill for a little, go back to practice at night, and then I just go to sleep. So there's not really time to, hang out with people or, go out and party and stuff like that. There's really not time for that. But honestly, I'm fine with it. I'd rather stay away from the partying. I'd rather stay away um from all that stuff because this has a bigger purpose. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather put my full time into this than half-ass it and be all over the place. I'd rather be 100% in this.
What is like official prediction for your next fight?
I think there's a couple of ways it could go. I think I could definitely catch him with a hook, and it might put him to sleep. But also, he is a very, very good wrestler. So I'm looking for. I could catch a sub, or it could go to decision. We could beat the shit out of each other for 3 rounds and go to decision. But regardless, my stance is I will come on top. And it's all respect to the dude that I'm fighting. All love. Again, he's a great fighter, but I plan on coming out of this victorious. There's so much that I'm fighting for. Literally, the day of wins is the anniversary of my grandmother's death. So much stuff has happened at the beginning of this year. So this win is going to mean a lot to me. So I'm going to come out victorious. There's no other option.
So it's definitely will be a fight worth watching.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a fight worth watching.
Okay, Israel. So many thanks for the conversation and for the time. I think that it will be like super exciting fight because it's like always like a good prospect against good prospect. It will be like a lot of fun, and I hope that with the win you will like make your pro debut soon, and you will like stay for a while with APFC, getting
Yes, sir.
another wins.
Yes, sir.